Alrighty, good morning, everybody, or good afternoon. Hope you're all doing well. I switched my camera angle here. Let me move this so I can look over this way. Be sure everything's working fine. So yeah, I switched my camera angle and I changed my desk a little bit. So let me know how this works, if there's any glitches. Hopefully everything sounds good. Good morning, everybody. Jillian, good to see you. Jason, ka-ching! And then Alan, let's see, we got Prague. Vit says, will this be viewable later? Yep, the entire thing will be a live replay available on YouTube. Let me move this over here as well. So as soon as this stream ends, it should be available as a replay pretty much instantly, I've found. Seems like it works pretty well. So, first of all, good to see everybody. Hello, good morning, good afternoon. Hope you're all doing well. So hopefully you guys are looking forward to this one. So let's see. Wade says, great timing on the topic. We're busy building an online booking system as well. That's awesome. Yeah, so this is something that I've been needing to do for a while. The mock-up is done. Client's ready to move forward. So this is going to be for a real client. And I looked at Amelia before along with another booking plugin. I forget what it was called, but it was like $9 on AppSumo. I can't remember the name. And it looks like it has a lot of cool features coming, but for the moment, it's still a little bit, I guess you could say, lacking. They're just early in their development, so there's still more things that they need to add. But Amelia seems pretty seasoned. It definitely isn't perfect. And the little bit that I played with it, there are some nuances that I wish weren't as, finicky as they were, but, that's just kind of the thing. Brindle, that's it. John, thank you. Brindle booking is the one. So that one was cheap. It looks like it would be fine. But what I noticed at the time was Brindle didn't allow me to have more than 1 hour appointments. And this particular client, which I'll show you guys in a second, they book trips on a boat and they're in 4-hour blocks. So you have to pick from one of the 2 4-hour blocks available each day. And Brindle just didn't allow you to do that, whereas Amelia seems much more flexible. So that should be pretty good. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. Drop in the chat where you're from. I always like to see where people are from around the world. And we'll go ahead and get rolling here in just a minute. Jillian says, I can't wait for the events calendar to be more oxygen friendly. Yeah, that would be nice. Is there a oxygen, whatever it's called, add-on or integration coming? Are they doing that? Because that'll be pretty sweet if so. Cloudy and Gray UK says, Chris, Wade, South Africa, Italy. Awesome. It is cloudy and gray here as well, which is actually a good point. If the stream suddenly dies, it's because my power went out or the internet went out, because it is disgusting outside and has been for 2 days now. So John, also from the UK, awesome. Glad to have all you guys and gals. So essentially what we're going to do here is this is the client. So we're going to be working out of a Figma mockup again, just like from before. And essentially, this whole website, the entire goal is, of course, to just get people to book as quickly as possible. Now, this is a wake surfing, which is pretty cool. Another UK person, awesome. Clifford in the Midlands, welcome. Glad to have you. This is a wake surfing business, so essentially you're like riding the wake from behind a boat, which is pretty sweet. So it's definitely something that I want to get to do. So I'm really excited about that. But as you can see, it's a pretty sweet operation. So that is not the actual boat, but it's a rendering of the boat that they're going to use. So that's pretty cool. And then we have these nice wave kind of effects. So these are the built-in oxygen shape dividers, which is cool. That's something I've never really used. But again, this is done by the same designer as the previous couple of sites. And so, as usual, it just looks fantastic. So I'm really excited about this one. But of course, the book now is going to be through Amelia, like we've discussed, and that is going to be the main bulk of what we'll do to start off with. I want to look at Amelia first, and then we'll actually get into the oxygen build. Now, this probably will take more than one episode, so this might be broken up into 2 parts, just depending on how everything goes time-wise, but we're going to get rolling here in just a second. So Chris says, last week it was 22 degrees. This week we had snow and it was around 6. That's so bummer. Yeah, we had a huge drop in temperature here as well last week, and then warmed back up, and now it's raining again, so it's probably going to get cold. But either way, Andre says, how did your vaccination go? Good. So I got my first shot on Thursday around 2 p.m., and I got the Pfizer BioNTech one, got my first shot. My arm still a little bit sore, but I can move it now, so I'm good. And yesterday I was just a little bit tired. I had a headache, nothing crazy, but I also stayed up late the night before and woke up early. So I don't think it was the vaccine's fault. But yeah, all is well. So my second shot will be later this month, like April 28th, I think, or 29th. And then see how that one goes. So anyway, so let's go ahead and jump right into Amelia. So what I've noticed is that, like I said, I've played with this just a little bit, and you kind of don't really have a flow, which is frustrating because, like, what I would expect is that there would be some sort of process that the plugin would walk you through exactly what you need to do to set up, let's say like employees, services, locations, all that kind of stuff. But instead, what you're kind of left with is you just sort of start somewhere. So like, let me try to explain this a little bit better. So you have your all services category, but let's see, this is all relatively new to me, but let's try to add a category and see what happens. So we're just going to call this, I don't know, like trips or something. So then, actually, I didn't even notice. When we have all services, can we add a service straight to that? Yeah, we can. Okay, so it opens up in this sidebar. Let me make sure you guys can actually see this sidebar. Let me move myself over here temporarily. So in this sidebar, basically what we have is give the service a name. So let's call this one our 4-hour trip morning, maybe? Or let's actually just call this morning trip because they're both going to be blocks of 4 hours. The category, we have to have a category, so that's why I went ahead and created it. But you can't create one from this dialog, which is super annoying. So there's that. Our duration is going to be 4 hours. Our price, I forget what it is. I think it's like $1,200. Something like that. It's a pretty expensive thing. Buffer time before and after. We don't need a before buffer time, but we do need 1 hour after. Maximum capacity, I think, is 17 for this particular boat. And then bringing people with you. Book a group appointment without the possibility to come. Some with... we'll have to play with that and see what that looks like on the front end. I'm not 100% sure. Julian says, when I did a directory website, I read through that documentation 10 times. Yeah, I don't blame you. It's not immediately clear. That's the downside with this, unfortunately. Show service on site. Of course, we want that. This is not a recurring appointment. And then look, so here's another case where we just got to almost the very end. It forces us to pick an employee, but I can't select anybody and I also can't create it. So can I save it? No, so I have to cancel this. Then go back to employee. Got to create the employee. So I'm just going to put my name. Email is permaslug@gmail. Oops, permaslug@gmail.com. WordPress user is me. Why is it not popping up? Oh, I guess that's not required to have a WordPress user. Do I actually want that? Here you can map a WordPress user to the employee if you want to give them access to the list of their appointments in the back end. Well, I do. So I guess I'll just do create new because that doesn't actually exist on this site. Assign services. We don't have a service yet. Work hours. We probably do need to edit this because their times are going to go from 8 a.m. to like, why is it at 9? I wanted 8. There we go. And then I think it's to 6. So yeah. So apply to all days. Days off and special days, we don't need that. Okay, so now we actually have an employee. So we can go back to the services and we have to start again. So you can see that's like kind of annoying. I wish that it would let you do it in this dialog. So morning trip, category, trips, duration, 4 hours, doing the same thing we just did. 1,200. Buffer time after, 1 hour. Employees will be me, but that's obviously not going to be the case because I don't own this business. Gallery for images. Let's just stick something in there for now. So we'll just pick like the picture of this boat and just see where that goes later on. Extras would be like upsells. So I don't think we need that at the moment. And then for our settings, so general, appointment status, redirect URL after booking. We will actually change that URL to their like documentation, terms of service, you know, the like what do you call it? The waiver, the safety waiver that you have to sign. So that will be something that we'll add in, which I don't have at the moment. Minimum time required before booking. I actually don't know what they want here. So maybe 12 hours. I'll ask them and we'll change this. Minimum time required before canceling or rescheduling. Let's say 1 day. Payments will be, we have to set up a payment. Once again, you can't do that there. We're just going to use like Stripe and PayPal, I believe. Integrations with Zoom, we don't need that because it's a real service. So one thing we need to figure out is how do we set the morning trip to only be, what's the word? Not pickable, only be selectable at the morning. So if we go to our calendar, that would just make you create a new appointment. So I actually think in this case, we're going to need to change this from morning trip to 4-hour trip. And then the other service is going to be an 8-hour trip. So category is trips, duration will be 8 hours. The price I think is $2,200 on this one. Buffer time after would be 1. I don't think we want buffer time on this one because the whole workday is 8 hours. 17. Martin, welcome. Glad to see you in. Employees is me again. And then I'm going to change the photo here just to something different so we can see what actually happens to that photo. Extras again, settings again. Minimum time required before booking, 1 hour, and then, oh wait, we did 12, I think. 12 hours, and then minimum time required before canceling would be 1 day. Okay. So now we have a 4-hour trip and an 8-hour trip. So I think when we add the schedule to the front end, then it will let us pick, depending on the day, if that hasn't already been selected, based on our employees' work hours, which we already set. So then our locations is actually going to be where the boat lives, and there's not an API key in here. Let's see, what else do we have to worry about? Other than the name, that's it. So I guess we'll just call this like boat dock. And then the address, I can't remember what that is. It will be this. So we'll stick that in there, and then let's go with the purple pen, or actually maybe orange because there's orange on the site. And we of course can't get the Google Maps preview just yet. That's totally fine. Not too worried about that. And then what else? Let me move myself back so I'm not in the dead center again. So there we go. Okay. Now, or maybe I need to leave myself in the middle because that dialog keeps opening up on the right side. So let's see what we have now. So in our settings, we have general, company, notifications. Let's just take a little poke around through these settings, and I'm going to move my, oops, not that, wrong window. I'm going to move this off so you guys can see this dialog. So default time step slot is 30 minutes. I think that must be for starting the appointment, but they also have specific time that the appointments are available. So I don't know how we're going to do that. So enable this option if you want to make this time slot step the same as service duration. We probably want to turn that on. I'm going to have to figure out how we do that. Okay, so set a phone number as mandatory. They do want that because they're going to have texting. They want to be able to text people their appointment reminders. Show booking slots in client time zone. No, we don't want that. Google Maps API key. I'm not going to worry about that at the moment. So it looks like you do have some global settings here, which is nice. So I actually went in and changed those settings for like the booking, time windows and stuff, but you can do that here globally, which is nice. What's up, Taylor? Good morning. Good afternoon for you. Got a bunch of people from the UK today, so that's exciting. All right, so company settings, what else do we have? So we have name. This company is called Destin Wake Surf. And then their address is that. Website is eventually going to be destinwakesurf.com. And I don't know what the phone number is right now, so we won't worry about that. Now, notification settings, PHP mail is good because our server is going to handle that. So our sender name will be Destin Wake Surf, and then sender email will be no reply at destinwakesurf.com. Notify customers by default, success, all that is good to go. Taylor, yeah, I did actually move it around. So I just basically, my desk was like facing this window, but I just basically shifted it to the right. The reason why is because there's a bunch of soundproofing on this wall, and I also just wanted to change. So this works out better. Let's see. Please make tutorials about WooCommerce and multi-vendor. Multi-vendor is super difficult because there's only like 1 or 2 plugins, and the one that I used was Dokken multi-vendor, and that was pretty difficult to use. It didn't really work all that well with Oxygen. And I am considering doing a directory website, like a local listing service, you know, but just time is in the way. Hey, Raphael, welcome in. So let's keep going here. So working hours and days off. So let's edit this again. We already did this on the specific service, but this is going to be better to do it here in the global settings. So we'll save that, and then we'll apply that to all days, because especially in the summertime around here, all these boat services run 7 days a week, and then they'll be able to add specific days off if they need it. Payments, I of course don't have their Stripe info right now, but eventually we will be using Stripe. So I wonder if we can turn that on, stick it in test mode. I guess I'm not going to be able to save that because I don't have the keys just yet. So maybe, yeah, it won't let me save it. Don't think they're going to have coupons, so I'm going to turn that off. So currency, US dollar, all of this looks good. On-site payment will be what we'll have to do for now, so we at least have something. What integrations do we have? So Google Calendar we're definitely going to do because the client wants to be able to add appointments to their own calendar and have it reflect back and forth, which we can definitely do. Events attendees, that's pretty cool. So there's a bunch of stuff you can do here with the Google Calendar integration, which is neat. So the client ID and secret, of course, I don't have that. Outlook, Zoom, and webhooks, so I'm assuming you could do stuff with like Zapier. All right, so appointment settings. Allow booking above maximum capacity. No, because they can't fit more than that. Allow booking below minimum capacity. I think they're going to want that, so we'll leave that on. What labels do we have? So employee will actually be captain, and then there won't be captains, but we'll do that. So service and services looks good. Roles, let's see. Employee, manage their appointments, configure their days off. The employee in this case is the owner of the business, so he is going to be able to do everything. And then a customer, check customer's name for existing email when booking. I don't know. Allow customers to reschedule their own appointments. Don't know that they're going to want that. I'll have to talk to the client about that. Require password, allow customers to delete their profiles. We'll do that. And eventually, once we have a customer page, it'll probably just be like /account. We'll stick that in here. Okay, so activation, that's for Amelia itself. So we'll look at that a little bit later. Good morning, Pedro, or good afternoon, wherever you guys are in the world. Jillian says, how do you usually transfer billing for plugin licenses? So typically I basically just include that charge in the first invoice with the client on the website, and then I just tell them it's going to be an annual fee of X, and then just bill them for it. And I found that to be the most simple because I require clients to have their card on file with me. So it makes it much more simple, and I just let them know ahead of time I'm about to charge your card for, you know, whatever it is, $60 for Amelia for the booking service, and people typically don't have an issue with that. Okay, so what I still haven't figured out is how we actually set those time blocks to specific times, because there is a specific start time for each one. So maybe let me go back to the services, and I wonder if there's a way to set it to only be able to start at a specific time. But I guess actually they're going to be offering trips that will run from 8 to, I forget what they said, 8 to, let me look, because that's important to know. Where is it? Where is it? 8 to 12 and then 1 to 5. Okay. So let's take a look on the front end and see if we can actually get anything to function. I think I need to go into my Oxygen templates. I need to stick an inner content element in it. Yeah, Taylor, I think it is business hours. You're right. I was just thinking the 8-hour one you could only book at 8 o'clock, first thing in the morning. All right, so inner content, we'll just plop that right in. I don't need the section. That's just so habitual. So we'll switch back over to the home page real quick. Flipback asks, what service are you using to keep their card on file? I use Zoho Invoice that's integrated with Stripe, and it actually saves it inside of Stripe. So it's nice and secure and super easy to use. So the short codes, I actually have no idea what they are. So Amelia booking short codes. List of Amelia short codes. Here we go. So there's a few of them. So Amelia booking, if you want to show the basic step-by-step booking wizard. Oh gosh, don't give me the pop-up. Full short code. Okay. Taylor says, do you not use Zoho Books, which includes invoice and expenses? No, I don't. I don't use Zoho Books because I use QuickBooks Online, since that's what my accountant prefers. I have a little bit of a mess behind the scenes, but it's all good. Welcome, welcome. No problem with being late. We're all late sometimes. So I want to see what this particular basic setup looks like. So service, we should probably change that to trip length or trip duration, probably trip length. I do remember we saw that. Was it in settings under labels? There it is. So service, we're going to go to, I guess, just trip length. And then is it lowercase on the front end? No, it's not. That's super weird. Services, we'll just go trip lengths with an S. Save. And then if we refresh here, trip length, 4-hour trip and 8-hour trip. Okay, so that actually works pretty well because that's exactly what it is. It's the trip length. So if we go 4-hour, oh gosh, it looks like I need to set the width on this particular short code. Let's go with maybe a minimum width of like 768. Is that going to be enough? I don't want it to be super wide. Refresh again, trip length, 4-hour, continue. So what's the date today? It's April 10th, and I set it to be 12 hours ahead, so we shouldn't be able to book today, which is good. So then Sunday the 11th, if we click that, we have 8 to 12 and 1 to 5. Cool. That's actually working exactly as it's intended because the client said their trips are 8 to 12 and 1 to 5. So that's perfect. That is exactly what I wanted. So then, oh, Jason says you spelled length wrong. I always spell length wrong. I always get that wrong. That's one of those, I always, L-E-N-G-T-H. L-E-N-G-T-H. There we go. Thank you. That's one of those words I always get wrong. There we go. Okay. Robert says, hey, appreciate your videos and live streams. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you joining and watching, all of you guys. Okay. Let me go back to this. We're going to choose a time and let's see what this looks like. So continue. It's filling in my information because, of course, I'm logged in. So our captain is me in this case, which is, of course, not actually true. So location is boat dock. I don't actually like that because that's going to be super confusing. People won't know where that is. So where was that? I can't remember where we set that. Was it company settings? Appointment. Where was it? Was it under the service? Oh, no, it's locations. There's an actual locations tab there. Okay. Okay, so boat dock, we're just going to change this to Legendary Marine because that's where it actually is, not Amelia Booking. Marina. Whoops. And then address is that. So save that. I need to go get an API key. Am I still in the middle of the screen? Is that working? I guess it's okay for now. I'll put myself back, but I was keeping myself in the middle because the Amelia stuff is on the right-hand side. All right. So 8-hour trip, how does that work? I guess that's good. Yeah, 8 to 4. Unless they wanted it to start at 9, but I don't think they're going to want that to be the case. So the 4-hour trip will be 8 a.m. and 12. Then the location is Legendary Marina. That's perfect. So let me stick just a phone number in there. Confirm. Thank you. Your booking is completed. We didn't actually have to pay, obviously. That's funny. So your booking is completed. I don't know. Is it going to let us stick that in there? Oh, sweet. It actually does just toss it right in. I thought that was going to be some, like API keys or something that we would have to do. So the only thing is I wish it added in the location. So is that because in our service, we didn't set a specific location with an address? I know we did that just a second ago. So settings, I don't see a way to add in a location. These are little like tangents I get myself on. I wonder if there's a setting for that maybe. So company, appointments. Nope. I mean, we have the address in there. I wonder why it wouldn't stick in. I wonder why it wouldn't stick in the location. What happens if I click finish? Does it take me back home? It does. So let's take a look at some of these other booking layouts because I think there's a few different options. So yeah, here's Amelia catalog is the other one. So we'll go back to the shortcode. So let's actually just duplicate this whole thing so we can kind of take a look at them. So I'm going to go with Amelia catalog this time. And then what were our other ones? So we have search view. I don't think we're going to want search because there's only 2 trip types. So if we duplicate this guy and then Amelia search, please enter. Yeah, we're definitely not going to want search, I don't think. And then event booking. And then you have front-end customer panel and then front-end employee panel. So that's actually pretty cool. We'll take a look at those here in just a second. So we have events, so save, and then, oh yeah, that's a good point, Pedro. He says, it might not be showing the location because you haven't set the Google Maps API. That is a good point. So if we go to categories, if you go trips, 4 and 8 hour, that actually looks pretty good as it is because you can compare them side by side, and then that must be the service catalog view. So if you only want to show the services from a category with ID of 1, I bet our category there is probably ID of 1. Let's go back to that so you don't actually have to click the trips button. That's neat. Okay. This is cool. So there you have the trips, and then those are our 2 trip types that we just set up, which is pretty sweet. I wish there was a photo there. I wonder how we get that. Because that looks super plain. I want to change the photo, like the little profile photo, and I want to change the photo at the top. Oh, there it is right there. Look at me. We'll have to change that photo to make it like something that actually fits. But our gallery, we already have a photo in the gallery, but it didn't show up at the top. I wonder why that would be. So we'll save that, and then let's just take a look quickly on the home page. Yeah, John, for sure, since it's 2 services. Oh, weird, it changes that photo and not the little circle. Why would that be? I guess I'll use Hoverify. Oh, I can't really get to it. Let's try inspect. Well, I didn't think about the mobile view, but that is something worth considering for sure. So let's take a look real quick at this. So we have trying to see if we can figure out why it's 3 wide. So that's flex wrap. Is it these are set up as a specific width, I wonder? It's just set up as a flex row. So I wonder if we change that. We can come back to that. But essentially what I wanted to do is figure out why it changed that top image and not the circle image. So category service image. So that's the one we just added. So info, and then the thumb, category service thumb. Oh, so do we have under our trips category? Apparently not. I was thinking maybe we had a photo option under the trips tab. Apparently not. Not sure. Okay, so anyway, I got distracted. What I actually wanted to do was just compare these different booking options. So this one actually looks pretty good, depending on if we can get it to be, you know, basically like 50% width instead of whatever this is, 33. And I'm in the middle of the screen, so, oh no! Keep clicking on the wrong thing. Let me move myself back over here. If I forget to move stuff, you guys be sure to let me know, because I totally forget this sort of thing. Okay, so there's that trip type. The search we definitely aren't going to want to do. How does this even work? What are you supposed to search? Oh. Not really sure I like that. So what about if I type in hour? No, I don't really like that one. So then this one, you pick a date. That's it? That's all you do? And nothing happens? What did I do wrong? Or how is it supposed to work? So event booking, if you want to show a list of all of your events. Oh, so do we just not have events? Yeah, okay, so that's a completely different type of package. So, oh. Do we actually want an event instead of a service? Let's, oui. Oh no, so event is a static date. That's not gonna work. No, we don't want an event. We want a service. I was thinking maybe we did, but definitely not. So essentially, I think we're not gonna use, what is this one called? The search. We're not gonna use the search, and then we're almost certainly not gonna use whatever this one was called. It was on-caught error, offset width. Doesn't like whatever I did here. So events, we don't need that because we don't actually have events here. So comparing these two that we're left with, I think this one down here looks better. And once I actually get like the real employee in there, it's probably going to be better. John says the events can be recurring, so maybe you do want events. Yeah, let me take a look at that and click the little recurring button. Weekly, monthly, yearly. I guess since you only have weekly, that doesn't really help because this would be daily. We want this to be every single day. Weekly, monthly, year. Yeah, I think we're going to want service. That's just easier. You don't have to fiddle with the recurring component to it. So anyway, this actually looks pretty good. I wonder if you can change that view more text. And then, whoa. Those photos don't look good. That big. Huh. Four-hour trip, capacity of 1. That's not true. Let's go back to our services. So our 4-hour trip, minimum capacity. Oh, maximum. I forgot to change the capacity here. So maximum is 17. I still don't quite understand what the what that bringing people with you option does. So let's take a look at that here. For some reason, it changed my icon color. It was like pinkish purple a minute ago. So bringing anyone with you, what does that do? Number of additional persons. I wish it just said people. One person, two people. So let's say we have 9 people. What happens? Nothing changes, essentially. Okay, that's fine. I don't really like this, though. Why is this so huge? Because I bet that probably is not that ideal on mobile. Well, first of all, our minimum width kind of jacks it up. But if we refresh, if we click that 12-hour trip, trip length info, duration is 4 hours, capacity is 1 to 17. Bringing anyone with you doesn't really matter, though, because it's only going to be like one person booking for everybody. And I think that's super confusing. So show service on site, yes. Set recurring appointment, no. So save that. And then let me go back here and turn that off. Bringing anyone with you. Save again. Yeah, that's going to just make it much easier. So let me actually get rid of the width here because I just wanted to see what it looks like. So width 100%, and then we'll go max width of, I don't know, 800 pixels. Same thing here. Width of 100, and then max width of 800. And then save. Oh, big flash of lightning. Hopefully my power doesn't go out here. I said earlier that if I disappear, it's because my power went out or the internet goes out because the weather outside is pretty terrible. Did you guys hear that? There's some serious thunder out there. It's rattling my entire house. The windows. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Okay, so thunder. It reminds me of what's the AC/DC song? Thunder. Yeah. It's definitely not ideal. It's been pretty bad since like this time yesterday, like early yesterday, which is super bummer. John says, do you lose power often in bad weather? Every once in a while, but like it sometimes will flash like super quickly and everything shuts off, you know? I need a battery backup for my computer, but I just haven't bought that because I'm a noob. Okay, so on mobile, Jillian says, are you in a tornado zone? No, thankfully not. We have sometimes, like, I'm in the panhandle of Florida, so sometimes we have like little water spouts and stuff, which are like mini tornadoes on the water, but those aren't typically a threat. We just are in, you know, hurricane zone. So that's typically what we have to face. Hurricane season is coming up soon. So I'm actually not like mad at either of these two options for mobile. We would just need to jazz up the look around them, which we'll definitely do. So I'm just trying to think, like, if I came to this site and I was on my phone, I think I would rather see this one because this has a nice photo. It says the trip length. It says the price. That little thing right there, the little like captain icon, is kind of confusing. It's like, what does that actually mean? But if you click it, shows you a picture of the boat, which is pretty cool, actually. Are you going to know to scroll down? I wonder. I mean, I guess you would. Just trying to think about, like, what is the most ideal situation here? There may be a bit of testing that needs to take place just to see what people are going to be more inclined to do. I did read somebody was saying something about Amelia is not ideal for conversions, but I didn't know whether that was just somebody that didn't know what they were talking about or if they had experienced it on their site and maybe it wasn't that ideal. I don't know. Okay, so this is starting to look mostly functional. So I think at this point, what we need to do is get some real photos, which those still need to come, like for the actual boat and trip and stuff. And then the next thing would be actually getting the design rolling for the site. So I didn't show most of you guys this, except those of you that were here at the very beginning. So this is the actual site mockup we're going to be building, and it's going to be nice to have these shape dividers. So we're going to work on that. So this is just a brief rundown of what the site looks like. Really happy with this. Same designer that did the luxury RV site that I did on stream, and then also the Permaslug homepage. So yeah, we'll get rolling here in just a minute. So Chris says, I don't get filled with confidence by Amelia, hence I held off on it. Kind of feeling the same thing. Like, it does what it needs to do. But one thing that I will say is, you know, like, if you're going on a vacation or like a trip or something, and you go to like an excursions website like this, it's pretty amazing how often it's very difficult. They're hard to use, and they just aren't that great. Like there's a decent sized service that I run into a lot that is called Fair Harbor, and it's like a third party service. So these people have their own website, and then it links out to Fair Harbor, and that is actually very similar to Amelia in that sense. Like there's a bunch of different steps, and I mean, I think this is the sort of thing that if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it, you know? But obviously that's a little bit of speculation. We'll have to kind of test that out. So Mariah says, sorry to be off topic, but I remember you saying you were going to do a live stream on Printful WooCommerce. Is that still happening? I don't have a schedule for that yet because I was actually testing a few of the products from Printful, because I was doing, which I actually have some. I'm going to grab them real quick. First of all, I have this hat, which is not actually from Printful. But I got a few products, which you can't see them right now because my thing is cut off. But there's two posters on the wall, like Formula One posters that I got printed from them. And then also, let me show you guys this. So I got this. Let's see. I got this. Let me make sure it's right side up. A giant Permaslug blanket. Hopefully you guys can see this. Woo, baby. Yeah. I'm actually going to wear this. So it's a pretty soft blanket, but this came from Printful. And really what I wanted to do was just test the products before I actually went and like built a site with it, because I've never actually used their services before, and I didn't want to go building something and then having people, you know, potentially buying stuff that was garbage. Chris says, the issue comes from those plugins that are quite broad to cover lots of scenarios, and that means you probably lose some granularity. I think that's absolutely true, because really you could probably build something like this that wasn't as complex, but then it's like you're reinventing the wheel to some degree. So like, I don't know. It's really hard with this kind of stuff. Let's see. Mariah says, cool, nice quality. I was worried it was kind of cheap. So, I mean, this blanket, I chose one side to be black, but as you can see, the other side's white. So this thing totally started off as white, and then they just, like, I guess, inked it or bleached it. Smells fine. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure about the quality, how it would hold up. And then the other thing was, I also got some stickers, which are out in my living room, but I haven't actually like done anything with that. Curious about using it for multi-site. I don't know anything about multi-site, unfortunately, so not sure I'd be any use there. So Taylor says try gravity forms. I mean, yeah, I think you could use this for gravity forms, and you and I actually talked about that, Taylor, that this is just not something that to me is worth spending the time trying to configure in gravity forms, because you need the ability for clients to cancel and update their appointments. The client needs to get in there and make changes, and that's not going to be very conducive with gravity forms. So like, this is one of those trade-offs that you just kind of have to make. Like, does something like Amelia make sense? I think in a case like this, it does, where the client needs to be making dynamic changes to pricing and trip availability and all that kind of stuff. So with that in mind, let's actually get started on designing the site now. So we have Amelia mostly in place. There's definitely changes we'll need to make, and you know, that's something that we'll work on over time. So let's go start off with our all pages template. And I actually am in Oxygen. So let's go ahead and delete this. And we'll get out of that. And we'll go to our templates. And we have an all pages template. So we'll just edit that with Oxygen. So I actually feel like I need to close this window a bit. Oh no, there we go. My face is lit up now. A little bit better, I guess. I've heard success using Fluent Forms to make a full-fledged booking and checkout system. You probably can. I mean, I think like most of those well thought out form plugins are, you could probably do it. It's just, like I said, it's a trade-off for me of like time expenditure versus features. And, you know, does it make sense for you to spend all that time building some custom solution so then when it goes wrong, you have nobody to fall back on but yourself? Everybody thinks of things differently, but that's just my thought. So this is going to be another situation where we have essentially like a header that will sort of be unique to the home page, and then we're going to have some inner pages that will mostly follow the same kind of layout, but just with a slightly shorter, you know, header situation here. So I'm just trying to think about how we're going to set this particular guy up. Mariah says, thank you for the feedback. Will you maybe post on Facebook before the stream, or what's the best way to know it's happening? So yeah, so in Facebook, I typically always post those in there before they take place. You can also check the Premise Lab website. I typically post them there as well. And then just make sure you're subscribed here on YouTube, and it will it'll show you that there's an upcoming stream, and you can click the little get reminder button. So Taylor says the issue with Fluent Forms is there's no two-way Google Calendar sync. Yeah, so there's a thing right there that this client definitely wanted. So let me get out of this homepage real quick here, and let's start off with a div. This one is going to be our header. So we're going to change the tag to header on that div. We also need to go change our page width to 1440, which is our pixel width here. And then we do have these shape dividers. So those I think you can only get with sections, if I'm not mistaken. So like if we go add a section, then shape divider is right there, and there's the wave. So a div, I don't think you can add shape dividers to divs. I think it's only sections, if I'm not mistaken. That's what it looks like. So our inner content, we can get rid of that for the moment. We're going to focus on this div for our header here. So header is what we're going to call this. Or actually, let's just call this like header container. Taylor says export the shape divider as SVG and use that. That's not a bad idea. So I do know that this was designed with the Oxygen feature in mind. So if we go back, I don't need the inspect, I need the design tab. So we could go SVG. Andre says, after adding a shape divider in a section, you can wrap it with the div and then move it out wherever you want it to be. Gotcha. Cool. That works. All right, so let's go. First of all, I'm getting caught up on the shape dividers. We're not even to that point yet. So let's take a look at this hero section. Somehow I moved it down the page, which I didn't mean to do in terms of organization, but whatever, not a big deal. So we have our logo, which is not actually the logo, it's just a placeholder for the moment. And then we have our menu with that hover border. So we're gonna do a div here that will contain the logo and that menu. And then we're gonna have another one that will contain this stuff here. Then we have those background letters. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to incorporate that, but first of all, with this header container in this section, I think I need to add another div inside of this. This will be, I'm going to call this DW header top. That'll be our class. So we'll set this guy to 100% width. Our background image is going to be this photo right here. And then I'm not going to worry about setting an explicit height just yet. So then I'm going to do another div, which will be 100% width, and then it will be a max width of 1440. I'm going to set this div to, let's see, vertical is fine, and then center. Then we're going to add in an image element, and this white logo is what we're after. Let's do horizontal, space between. I'm going to add in yet another div, and we'll call this one DW header menu, and then set this div to middle align. Inside of this, we're going to add text links. So we'll go DW menu, DW header menu will be our class name here. And let's take a look at some of this styling. So I didn't actually look at what these fonts are. So inspect. So where's the font? Why am I missing it? It's not fill. That's not what I wanted. Oh, it's because I don't actually have the text selected. There we go. Sometimes not the smartest, if you guys haven't figured that out. So it's Montserrat, and then what is this? This one is bangers. Interesting. Okay, so go back to our fonts. So display Montserrat, I believe. No, this one is Montserrat. Montserrat, and then I don't think we want this to be bangers just yet, but that's what we're gonna do. All right, so we have our text link here, and then it is black by default, and then it changes to orange on hover. So we're gonna just change the text color to, oh, not white, black. That's such a habit. And then our orange will be, let's see, this color, so foxy red. So on hover, it will change to that, and we'll call this foxy red as well. So there we go. And then what else do we have? So we have letter spacing is 0.16 EM. Our font weight is bold, so we're going to go font weight of 700. And then our letter spacing is 0.16 EM. And then it was all uppercase, so we need to set our typography to uppercase like that. So home, and then we do have an active link, which I don't know if there's a way to do that without incorporating some custom code, so we probably won't worry about that for the moment. I do want a transition effect, so let's go ahead and just add DW transition as our class. Effects will be transition 0.2, ease in out. I don't know that that's actually the transition. That's a little bit slow, actually. I think we're going to go 0.1. Chris, I totally agree. He's absolutely amazing. And then what does our spacing look like here? So 106, but actually it's probably just based on this div's total width. So how wide is it? So it's 762. I think I want to go back to our header menu. We're going to go 762, which is kind of a weird number, but we'll change that to 100% width. Then we're going to set this to horizontal and space between. So now if I duplicate this menu link a couple of times, it should space it out for us roughly to where we want it. But actually, it makes those text links stretch, which is not super ideal. So maybe that's not the way for us to do this. Yeah, I don't really like that. Well, we do need that to be horizontal. So our header menu. Oh, I changed the text links themselves. That's not what I meant to do. Did I actually accidentally put the wrong... Oh, I have the wrong class. That's what I did. On these text links, I didn't need DW header menu. I wanted... Well, actually, I do need that class because I did the styling on that. Whoops-a-daisy. So DW header menu links. We'll change that there. Then I need to copy the styles from this one to that one. And then now I can delete that. So my solution earlier probably will work. I just made a mistake. So we're going to duplicate this basically 5 times. Now we can set this guy to a width of 100% and max width of, what was it, 762. Now we can go space between, and there we go. So now there's not that extra clickable area around the text links, which is cool. So then we had, I forget what the menus are. So book now, more info, FAQ, and contact. Book now, FAQ, which one would come first? Let's go with more info. Just thinking from a practical standpoint. FAQ, and then contact. Cool. So looks like our image, our background image is stretching a little bit. So I wanted to take a look just quickly at how that behaves. Yes, it is. And the image is only 1440 pixels. So I think I have a more full-size image somewhere. Is it this? Oh, but it's absolutely gigantic. Let me shrink that down real quick, and then I'm going to upload the larger one so that it doesn't stretch improperly. No, not browse and bridge. I hate that Photoshop lags when it opens. iStock. And then it's 126. Ends in 9. Open that guy. I don't think you guys can see this. That's fine. I'm basically just shrinking an image in Photoshop so it's not 14 megapixels when I upload it, because it only needs to be like, I don't know, that big. And then save as header hero. That's still pretty massive, but it's okay. Where did I set the background image? Was it this guy? Yes, it was. So upload, header hero, and once it upload, there we go. So then we're going to go to cover, and I don't know exactly how the positioning is right here. It's probably just top 50, but we don't quite have the height on this that we need just yet. So we essentially have this container done. So I'm going to rename this logo and menu. I don't need this section because I was playing with that earlier. So then let's go with another div inside of this. I forget, did I actually set the size here? What did I do in this container? I'm trying to remember what I did for the size and spacing options. So I actually want these to be DW, what am I going to call this? DW div. All right, so basically my naming convention here is DW for Destin Wake Surf, which is the name of the business. Then this div, and it's going to be page width, which is 1440. And that is basically just the width of 100 and then the max width of 1440 pixels. So now I can come back over here to this div and just do the same thing. So I'll just type PW and add that class. And then we just need to take our header container and center that, so then it pushes this right in the middle. But I just realized it needs to actually go inside of that so it has the background image. So this particular one needs to just basically go in there. So that's actually not logo and menu. This one is header wrapper, and then logo and menu, and then this one is going to be hero title. Okay, so now we have this big heading. So there is essentially 2 divs here. Chris says, since I started watching your videos, I prefix all my classes with the site name initials. Never did that before. It's funny because I started doing that because of the Google material design. Actually, all of their stuff was like, you know, MDL or whatever it is. There's another one like MD something, but I got that from Google. I stole that from material design, so that's funny. So this div is 600 and basically 39, and then this one is 360 wide. So we need 2 divs inside of that. Let's go. This is going to be mega easy. So we're just going to basically set this particular div to a grid, column count of 3. Maybe not. Maybe we won't use grid. No, let's not do grid. We're going to go horizontal alignment. Then we're going to go with 1 div, duplicate it. So now we have 2. Kind of hard to see right now. So just bear with me on this. So this one, we're going to go max, well, this left div, let's go max width of 640 and then a width of 100. And then the other one was what? It is 360. So we're going to set this to width of 100 and 360. Was it 360 or 340? Yeah, 360. I got myself confused. So then this hero title, we're going to, do we want space around possibly? That looks roughly right. Okay. And then inside of this, we have the little subheading right here. So this guy is a font size of 24, weight of 900. And let's keep going. Okay. So we're going to add in a heading. We're going to change this to DW. What do I want to call this? We're just going to call this sub heading. Tag will be H2. Our text color is going to be the orange from earlier. I don't think that is that particular font. That's Montserrat 924. 24. Then typography is Montserrat, uppercase, and Destin Wake Surf, I believe it was. Yep, and then it's right aligned. So let's take this div actually and just right align it like that. And then it's on 2 separate lines. Looks super small. Why is it so much smaller? I guess just because I'm so much more zoomed in. And then, do we have any letter spacing? Letter spacing is 24 pixels, but I don't think that's actually any different because maybe, well, maybe it is. Yeah, okay. All right, all right. There we go. So now why doesn't my heading right align? Is it because it's on a class? Well, so it is right aligned. You did the online break. Oh, right. Yeah, thanks, Chris. Destin Wake Surf. There we go. Okay, cool. It was just that line break with the after the space. Good call. Thank you, sir. Okay, so then under that, how much space do we have? It is 12, and then this one is 120. So, oh, actually, I want to go under our subheading, add 12 pixels. Then this heading is going to be H1, and the font size is 120. And then what did it say? Destin's most unique water sport. Text color is orange as well, right? Oh, no, it's black. Whoops. Letter spacing of 4. Robert, thanks so much. Glad you stuck around this long. Typography is black, and then letter spacing of 4. And then, so let me look at how this image sort of lines up to see exactly where this text is on the desktop side. So the D is like right on top of the board. So it needs to come over a bit. I wonder if that's just the photo alignment more so than this actual divs alignment. Let's see. Just trying to look at the alignment. So there's a big splash right there. Yeah, it looks like this is more over to the right. So let me change the background positioning here. Is it 50? No. It's perfectly in the center. So I guess it needs to be auto. It's not 50. Oh wait, maybe it is 50. You guys hear my creaky chair? Why is this just not quite fitting right? So that image says it's 1851 by 916. So let's try to do that actually. So we're gonna go to manual. So 1851, 960. I'm so bad at remembering those numbers. 916. I see it and then I like immediately forget. So that kind of stretches it though, doesn't it? And then what if I take off these? So that actually gets us closer, but the D was right on top of that board. Is it left 100? I think we're getting there. Yeah, none of the softwares though are really all that correct, Taylor, you know? Like Figma is never really the same. Adobe is XD in particular is way harder. All right, so then the D in Destin and Wakesurf. Looks like the hero headings are actually further right in the design. Yeah, so the D is basically lined up with the B in Book Now. Yeah. I guess it's because this is almost right aligned. Yeah. So that's closer. That's nearly it. And then there's spacing between these of what? Oh, it's not much, actually. 37. So margin of, I'll just go 38 to make it kind of a round number. And I keep clicking to that. I'm going to save this so it actually updates. And then we need to set our background to no repeat, but it's going to end up having a little bit of a white gap. I wonder if it's to do with my screen size because this is a 1440 window. We're getting there, but it's not quite right. So is this line height different? Yeah, I mean, that line height is way shorter here. So that's one thing we need to figure out is what is that conversion? That's one thing that's not the same is the line height in Figma. It says 120 pixels, which is the same as the font. So I'm assuming that's a line height of 1. And then, did I set the letter spacing of 4? Yeah. And then, is that a different font weight? Yeah, it's 400. Okay, so 400. Okay, so that's getting there. I want to go ahead and add the content over here in this right-hand div so we can kind of see what we got going on. So that's just a text element and then an orange button. So we go text, stick that in, and then that one looks to be centered. And then let me change this. And I'm assuming it's probably going to be 16 pixels between, it's 24. I'm glad I checked. So 24, and then we'll go with, I like doing link wrappers as buttons so that you can easily add an element into it like an icon if you want. So we'll call this Destin Wakesurf button primary will be our class name. Background color is going to be orange. Not white. Background color is orange. Typography will be white. And then border radius, I'm assuming it's something like maybe 8 or 12. What actually is it? Doesn't say. Maybe it will tell us here. Oh, it's 16. There it is. So border radius of 16. And what else do we got? So our font is 16, letter spacing of 6, and then Montserrat and bold. So we're going to do that. So our link wrapper, typography, 16, uppercase, font weight of, I think bold is 700, isn't it? And then was it letter spacing of 4? So book now. And then our padding is how much? So 16 top and bottom, and then it says 83 left and right, but there is a bit of spacing. So it's probably going to be a bit more than that. We'll play with that here in just a second. So 16, 16, and then we'll go 80, 80. And then this link wrapper is actually taking up 100% of its container. There was a creative way we did this before where it doesn't necessarily make the button 100% all the time. I guess we could just add another class. So DW button primary, we'll go FW for full width, like that. Okay. So let's refresh real quick and take a look. So there's definitely lack of padding above and below the content, but we are getting closer. So above this logo is 24, and then below that is like basically 200. So let me go to our header wrapper, and I guess it's safe for us to do it on the class itself. We'll go 24, and then it's like 120 down there. The text box on the right is left align, is it? Oh yeah, it is. You're right. Good call. Here I was trying to center it for some reason. We'll left align that guy. And then now we need to figure out the shape divider here in a second, because I think we're getting pretty close. The only other caveat is just this, what do you call it? Repeating image. So what did I do to make that happen here? So I obviously want no repeat, but that's not going to fix it. It's weird because is it just my screen? What happens if, oh yeah, so that just must be the 1800. Did you guys not see that? Oh yeah, you do. I see it in OBS now. Almost, there we go. Okay, so can you change that to 100% width? Does that work? I can't quite tell if the image is stretched. Yeah, it's kind of stretched, but I mean, it's not that bad. Martin says, are you going to show the booking port itself? I did all like the setup stuff at the beginning of the stream, and then we'll actually set it up here in the website here in just a little bit. Cover didn't work. I tried that earlier. This is fine now. So what I want to do at this point is figure out what I'm going to do with this Book Now button. So I think we're going to go ahead and stick it on this Book Now page. I think that's going to be the way I want to do this. Let's see. Sorry, one second. If you set width to 100 and set a height in pixels, it will be stretched. Okay. Yeah, I kind of figured that would be the case. So if I take away the height, oh, it's really not all that stretched. What if I just get rid of, I mean, it's stretched, but how bad is it? Yeah, that's not going to work. So I have to position this maybe with top 25. Okay, that is closer. Not quite perfect because I think the D was touching the top of the board in the mockup. It is. So it just needs to come over a bit. That's not going to work. Nope. I'm fine with that. I'm not super concerned with it being absolutely perfect. Yeah, Jillian, I completely agree. The stretching isn't too bad. We all know it's there because obviously we just saw it, but like it's not that big of a deal. So 916 versus nothing. I mean, look at how minuscule that is. That's like almost nothing. Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Glad to see people joining. I actually wasn't sure that anybody would even care to watch something like this on a Saturday. So I'm stoked that all you guys are here and gals. It's super exciting. I'm doing this today because I need to get this work done. And yeah, so I just thought, why not stream it? Thank you so much for the donation. That's the first one of the stream. Really, really appreciate that. Every little bit helps. I just sincerely appreciate the donations at all. Super awesome. Thank you very much. Oh, Jillian says back in stay-at-home order. Gotcha. That's super bummer. Is that the entire country, Jillian, or is that just your region, or how is that working? In the builder, it's not too noticeable, but if you're at 1920, the stretch. Oh, that's a good point. That actually is a good point. Yeah. Okay, so there's two things. So we have the shape divider and we also have these letters in the background. I'm not sure I'm going to put in those letters, to be honest. But we shall see. Whole province of Ontario. Gotcha. I feel for you. Hopefully you guys get out of that sometime soon. Okay. So we have our shape divider here. And that's basically the wave. It's white on top of that. So I think if we just go, if we add in, because this is our template, 4 weeks, gosh. I hope you guys get the vaccine soon enough, so at least maybe you can get some relief that way. Can I stick a section inside of this? Yeah, good point. 2 people pointed out it makes the text more readable. You're right. Thinking about... That actually probably would be the right way to do it, Sandra, just to make it so much easier. So if we go DW and hero image, and then I think if I say group selection, and then if I go to export group 1, then I think that works, but I don't think the size is right. That was the problem why I switched to this other version, was just because the image wasn't quite right. Yeah, because it's 1440. So I guess I could do that and then just stretch it though. Let me switch this so we can take a look and see what it actually looks like if they're combined. I don't think this is going to look all that great, because I'm pretty sure it's going to distort the image because it's going to stretch it. Oh, actually, that looks totally fine. Let's see, does it actually stretch to the bounds of the page though? I mean, not bad. What if I were to set it to cover? Hopefully I'm not destroying the layout here. I mean, it's so much more readable this way, but you don't quite, oh, not top 2%, that's not what I wanted. You don't quite get the full sense for the image though. Auto. Height. See, like, it changes the positioning when the screen size shifts, which I don't, oh man, the mobile view is terrible. I was going to try to see what happens when the screen size changes. I want it to show me the whole board like it does back here. So if I look at this image, you can see the entire thing and it's 1440. So I'm trying to think, why was this not working? Does height 100 have any difference? Oh, maybe I do need to set the height. So that stretches it. So then it fits, but it stretches because the image is only 1440 and my screen width is wider than that, I believe. So I essentially need a version of this that's not chopped on the edges, because without that, then it's basically like that, which is fine, but if I just set it at width of 1440, I just think we get blank sides. Yeah. I think I'm gonna have to deal with the stretch right now, and then I'm gonna have to get my designer to make a different different thing. If the hero image is 1440 with cover will be wide on 1920. Yeah, but the problem with cover though, what I was getting at earlier is that it cuts off the image in a way that I don't like. So maybe I have to go top 50 if we go that way. I guess that's okay. Oh yeah, true. Good point, Jillian. Adding in the section divider. So that I was thinking before I got distracted would just be a section inside this div, and then we would go shape divider, and we're going to set this to z index of, like, let's say 15, and then the color is white, but actually we need it to be visible. So then do we stack this inside of that div? Yes, and then this one, we don't need the padding on the bottom. We need it right here. So there's already 75, so we want to just go 125. And then our shape divider. Our height, how tall is that? It's 240. And then the wave isn't... sorry, Chris, I keep saying 1440, but I mean 1440 pixels because that's the page width of this particular layout and in Oxygen. So it's a different waveform. I actually don't know how to get this particular wave layout, like to get the exact same one, because the designer specifically said this is the Oxygen functionality. So I'm trying to compare, like, you sort of have these two regions, then a big dip, then you have the two little humps up. So is there a way to change this? So wavy 1, wavy 2, and wavy 3. First of all, what happens if I change this to white? Okay, it actually does work. Cool. You can export as SVG. I wanted to try the shape dividers first just to see if I could kind of get them to work. What about if you change the width? Can you change it to something wider? Oh, what about if it's shorter? No? 350. What if we go 0, 2%? Doesn't seem like you can really change the width all that much. I wonder why that is. You can put an SVG in the shape divider. Taylor, are you talking about in the custom shape here? So if we go export SVG, it says exporting. So then this, and I just open this bad boy up. Oh gosh, my thing is off my window here. So am I copying in this entire SVG? So are you copying in this entire thing? Remy says baited by the thumbnail, nice visual. I'm glad it worked. That's exactly the goal. So like basically I downloaded the SVG file, opened the little guy up. There's a ton of stuff in there. So then am I just pasting that entire thing into this little custom shape field? I guess the answer is yes, right? So then this would need to be full width, and then we don't want the bounds of the container, right? And then this would need to be 100%. Is that how this works? I guess that doesn't work. Try right click on Figma. Oh, right. Copy as SVG. Thinking, there we go. Okay. Oh, it basically gave me the same thing. So you don't actually have to download it. You can skip that step. But why is it only doing that? I understand because it's 1440. But it also has that border around it, which I don't want either. I think I accidentally added that stroke to it. Or maybe I didn't. Oh no. Oh no, I'm destroying stuff. Yeah, it is pretty strange. I guess it's just going to be better to use the default one for now because it does actually go the full width. Marcel says, I would wrap the divider with a div instead of keeping the section inside of the div. Oh, right. And then do you just have to go shape divider negative margin? Layout, Z index. See, that doesn't work though. That doesn't work. You can add it to the header section and specify bottom. Oh, okay. Let me go back a few steps then. Undo to the rescue. Are you saying take this out? Oh, no, you can't. So Oh, you really can do that. That's cool. That's that's pretty cool. Shape wrapper. Shaper wrapper. Shape wrapper. Oh my gosh. Drag and drop, dude. Sometimes it makes me want to shoot myself. Okay, sweet. So now we would need to give this back the padding that I stole from it earlier. That's still not right. It doesn't overlap. So is it more here? I guess I just need more padding. So let's just go here. Not sure exactly what the number is. We'll go 285 for now. And then you guys were saying, what? You could also flip it and the image will fill the SVG shape. So if I take this shape divider and I were to copy this again, is that what you're saying? But it still gives me that border. I want to get rid of that. Copy as SVG. Oh no, I copied the entire icon section. That's not what I wanted. The shape divider. Copy as SVG. So then we'll go back to our shape divider here. Oh, it's so annoying. Yeah, your header is in the same template as your hero section. Should you not be in the home page, not the main template? Yeah, Taylor, what I'm working on there is it's going to be a similar header for the inner pages. I'm just going to basically hide this section and make it just have a shorter version. So it'll be the same template for both inner pages. What happens if I take that out? So then that, what if I set this to 100%? Shape width is 1440. I want to just change this to like something higher. It doesn't increase in width. It's so weird. It doesn't make sense. Okay, anyway. I am not particularly concerned about the exact wave layout that we have going on here, so we are going to keep on moving. Since this divider works perfectly fine, that is all that I'm really after for now. So that shape divider is solid. Yeah, I don't understand, Jillian, why it's not working. I don't have a lot of experience with the shape dividers, but from what I know, it should work. Anyway, we have the beginnings of this. So now, because we're in our template, we're going to toss in an inner content element. This guy, I'm going to set him in height of, let's say, like 85 VH. Oh, whoops, not inside of that. That's not what I wanted. I want this outside. And why did it jack up my shape divider? Is this because I added a bunch of extra padding? So why did that go away when I had an inner content element? Was that just a weird bug? Yeah, it is cut off, but what happens if I add in another section? Does it go away? Ay, ay, ay. I didn't know the shape dividers were this difficult? Good Lord. That is crazy. Why is it so finicky? Oui. Nice job, Andre. Thank you. Beautiful. All right. Onward. Let's do this. Jeez. Oh, man. It's always something. You guys know you're in for an adventure when you're watching this stream, don't you? Okay, so we have our inner content. I had it set as minimum height of 85 VH to give us some breathing space. So our div here, this one is going to be our footer, and rename footer container. Save as always, just to be safe. And we don't need any of this. So this is going to be our footer, basically this entire thing. So we're going to have essentially a section with this as the background image and the shape divider up on the top. So what is this one? So this will be neat. Yeah, Chris, that's exactly why I enjoy these so much, is because you guys help me. We all learn a lot, and they seem to be super popular, so I'm really excited about that. Okay, so this time in our footer container, I'm going to add in a section. This section is going to have the background image of, which I didn't download yet, this guy. Okay, so take this and export the image. I believe that's the one we want. Upload this bad boy. So there we go. Hopefully, Chris, I covered what you wanted to see in, what do you call that? Amelia. But we're still going to add the book now page in a little bit, so don't worry. We're not completely done with that just yet. So our section, we are going to add a shape divider. This one is going to be on the top. And how tall is this section? I'm just going to give it a height right now so that we can actually see what we're doing. So we're just going to set this to a height of 1000 pixels. And then our shape divider, do we just make this color completely transparent, or is it white? Oh, it is white. Sweet. So wavy 1 looks close. Wavy 2 is definitely not it. Wavy 3 looks reasonably close. See, they look similar. It's almost just like the width of these, for whatever reason, is not quite correlating. And so it's like there's more waves that you can't see because of the width, but changing the width doesn't seem to do really anything other than make it look like garbage. Okay, Chris. I'm glad it helped you at least. Center horizontally doesn't do anything. That doesn't do anything. Flip. Wait, is that more like it? Kind of. Still not quite right. I wonder what I'm doing wrong. Is it the height maybe? First of all, I want to know how tall that shape divider is. Where is it? In Figma. Wave. That one is 268. Okay, 268. And then the width. So Goshen asks, have you tried Brindle? So I was talking about that at the beginning. Brindle is interesting, but it's not as feature rich as it needs to be for this particular client. So it's something that I'll probably look at again in the future as it starts to add more. You can mix more shapes to make custom. Oh, can you? So if I go back to my section and I add another one, then go to top and then change this to wave 2, and then we were to set it to white. Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. That one doesn't look super good, but that's kind of neat. That's good to know. All right, so I'm just going to leave that one as is. So we'll leave that shape divider alone. And then inside of this, we have our heading here. So this is similar to the heading from earlier. So we're going to just add this heading element. Why is that so far down the page? Does our shape divider take up that much? I guess I'm adding in a div and my heading. Oh no, that's not gonna change anything. Why is the shape divider so tall when it's only set at 268 pixels high? That's super odd. Wait, where did I set that 1,000? Oh, whoops. It wasn't on the shape divider. I meant to do it on the section. That's why. Okay. There we go. So then I want this to be middle aligned there. So then I'm going to take this heading and wrap it with a div. All right, so this guy was white. And oh, actually, I wanted to change this to, what did I call my other classes? What was this one? That's subheading. So we actually just need a new one, essentially. And I didn't give that one a class either, which was kind of silly, but that's okay. I'm just going to call this PS heading H2, because it will be in H2. So text color is white. The font size was like 96, I think. Was it? Yeah, it says it's 96. And then font weight of 400 and a letter spacing of 4. So 400, letter spacing of 4. And then what did that say? Our location. Okay. Our location. Cool. Dude, I always do that. Because PS is like my thing for like tutorial videos and my own site. It's PS. Whoopsie. That's hilarious. DW heading 2. All right, so then get rid of that class. There we go. Bam. Thank you guys for catching that. I appreciate you having a second set of eyes, because I would have come back to that later and been like, why did I do that? And then our line height is going to be 1, so we're going to shrink that real quick. And then how much space do we have between these two elements? 36. So we're going to go with margin of 36 pixels. Our text here, let's copy this. So copy, so that's Montserrat, 420, and white. There was a class on that, so I'm going to think of, we're going to go PS body big white will be our class name there. So text is white, font size is 20. I think it was 400. Paste that in. So we don't need legendary marine sales and brokerage. Okay. Marcel says it's definitely more than a second pair of eyes. Yeah, it's like how many? Currently 36 pairs of eyes, 38 pairs of eyes. I appreciate it a lot. Then we need another div so we can stick a book now button next to this guy. That says letter spacing of 2. That's one thing I didn't do here. So typography, letter spacing of 2. We need this to be centered. Inside of this div, we're going to add another one. And how much space was here? 36 again. I could have guessed that. So text 36. There we go. This div will set to 100% width. And then We'll just go horizontal. Link wrapper was our thing from before. So button primary is what I called this. Add in our text here. And then I think that was just a book now button, wasn't it? Yep. And then off to the right, we had another bit of text here. So in this div, we'll add in another text element. Paste that in, and then we need to work on the width of that. So max width of 460 is what we'll do for this particular text element. Text needs to be white, of course. I think I'm just going to go with PS again. There we go. I caught it this time. Aren't you guys proud of me? So DW body, we'll just go with white again. So that one is white, and then was it justified? Oh no, it's just left aligned. Okay. Line height is a little bit higher than 1, letter spacing of 1, Montserrat, and 400. 400 is the default, so that's fine. So letter spacing of 1, and then our line height's probably like 1.5, or maybe it's 2. Yeah, because it's 14 and 28, so it's 2. Text align is left, and then how much spacing is between those? So it's 40. So I'm going to go just on this link wrapper, not on the class though, on the ID. I'm going to go 40 there. So that's left aligned. It does have an extra line in that layout as compared to this layout. I wonder why that is. I'm going to go with 480 so it doesn't put that other word on one line. So there's that. And then this isn't quite lined up, so we need to fix that in a minute. It's a little bit below those boats up there. So I think that is just to do with how tall this section is. So we'll address that in just a bit. So then next up we have this super cool layout. I need to essentially export this. Can I do this whole thing as one? That would be legit. Because I would basically just make this map connect to Google Maps, I think. Or would I? I think I'm just going to do an image for now because eventually I'll put their Google business listing in there. And right now they don't have that. So let's go with... I think another section is what we want. And then I'm just going to copy the same shape divider. But then we need to essentially invert it. So that shape divider is going to be... Got asked, any reason why you don't use core framework? I think Taylor asked that as well. I missed that question. I typically don't use it on these sorts of projects. Just no particular reason, to be honest. I think it's a fantastic tool. I just prefer to have like really granular control. I'm kind of particular about how I want these sorts of things, so I want it to be a super clean slate. It probably would make it faster, but it's just the way that I prefer to do it. I know a lot of people like the frameworks though, which is why I made the video on it. So let me change this so we can kind of see this a little bit. So how tall is this wave? So that one's only 192, so we can change this height, 192. And then this section is going to have this background color, which is what? Is that right? Dark blue? Is that what that's called? I guess. Where is the color for me to copy? Is that it? Detached style? No. Does that just copy it? No. Where is the color? Is there like a color palette or something? What am I missing? Oh, weird. Never had to go there before. Okay, so this section is going to have this background color. So that one is called dark blue. So we'll go with that. So our shape divider is going to have that same global color. But so that probably needs to go back up here. And then that shape divider needs to go on the bottom and then flip, right? Isn't that more or less how it is? Yeah, so it's kind of on that image. Okay, so then inside of this section, we're going to add in an image, and we're going to just stick in that map image that I downloaded just a little bit ago. And we'll just use some negative margin to push that up. So we're going to take this text here, this section. We don't need any of the padding on top, so we're going to change that to 0. We're going to go ahead and center that. Then this image needs a ton of negative margin, so I don't know exactly what that's going to be. We need to make this z-index higher than the shape divider, because the shape divider I think is at 15. Oh no, it's at 25, so I'm going to change that one to 15. 1022ADN says, what add-on are you using for the zoom on top of the editor? Not sure what you're talking about. Zoom on top of the editor? Oh, this thing? That's just based on your page width. So that's like built right into Oxygen. So you can change it if you want to, but there we go. All right, so how much further up does this need to be? A lot further up. Okay, so pretty much the bottom like third of it. So negative 250, negative 350. And then this section from earlier, we set it to a height of 1000. What if I take this away? So I need that to be a height. So that one is 1050. And I probably want some extra padding up there because the heading right here is below those boats in the mock-up, but not by much. So it might be okay. What about if I just do that? If I push it right there, essentially. And then I'll make some like more nuanced tweaks to this later. So I think that's where this is going to go for the moment, but this doesn't quite look how I want it to. It's because that wave is not the same. It's almost like the shape divider here is pushed down more. So there's this section, which will just kind of be its own div. I guess there needs to be a bunch more padding on that upper section. So this one, let's change it from 75. Let's go like 250. Oh wait, that's not going to work. What about if I use this div and add margin below it? Oh no, same result. Or what if I just make this shape divider shorter? So not 190, let's go like 100. It's not quite what we want, but it's a little bit better. And then I had some extra margin underneath this guy, but I got rid of it. Okay, cool. So 75 top and bottom just to keep it consistent. So then inside this section, we have our image here, which I will link to their Google business listing once that's there. We've been doing roughly 24 to 40 pixels. How far is this? Come on. Yeah, it's 40. Perfect. So we're going to do one div that's 100%. Inside of that, we're going to do another one that's 1440. That's going to be got that border on the bottom. Then we'll do our terms and conditions and our social links. And how long have we been going today? What are we at? Just about 2 hours. Cool. We're doing well. I'm going to need to take a break here in just a minute. But let's go ahead and get this other stuff knocked out. So div, and then this guy, we had our PW class that's going to make this div page width. So I'm going to add another one inside of this. In that we have basically a border on the bottom, which is black, height of 2. So we're going to go set this guy to 100% wide. Border, not typography, border bottom to black, width of 2, make that solid. Then we're going to add in some text links. So these guys will be DW footer links. And let's take a look at their styling. So they're white. And then on hover, they change orange. And what else do we got? So 700. Left 0, top 0. Okay, so they are white. Font weight is 700. Typography is uppercase. Do we have a letter spacing there? Where is it? Letter spacing is 16%. I don't know what that equates to. I think we established in a previous stream that doesn't work. So let's just guesstimate. What does it actually look like? Maybe 1? Good enough. Perfect. And then let's just duplicate this a couple of times. So let me get you over here so you can kind of see my structure panel real quick. What I'm doing is just going to take this div and set it to horizontal. Then we're going to go to center. Do we want center actually? I don't think I need this. Oh wait, yes I do, because that has the border. I was going to say I don't think I need this to be 100% width, but you do. So what about, oh, I can just do 100 pixels between them. Yeah, that's fine. We'll see if that works. So I'm just going to go back to my text links here. Let me move myself back out of the way. Oh gosh, I keep doing that. Text link, so margin right will be 100. So we had book now. Let's see. What was it? I was trying to remember off the top of my head. More info, FAQ, and contact. More info, FAQ, and then contact. And then this one, we don't need the margin on the right-hand side. So there we go, save that. Domaholic asks, why aren't you using the simple menu block? I prefer to do this because you just have more control over it rather than using like the pro menu or the menu element. You pretty much never see me use those elements unless the menu is super complicated or it needs like extensive drop downs. Okay, so then there was some margin beneath these text links, 32. And then they had a hover border. So we're going to go to hover, border, bottom, orange. I'm assuming it's probably 1 or 2 pixels. Oh, but we actually want it to be not margin, but padding. So it pushes the link down, or the border down. And 1 is not enough, so it's probably 2. Let's see. Yeah, it is 2. Okay, so it's a 2 pixel border that shows up right on top of that black line. And then let's add the transition class. And we also need to add that border. Well, actually, yeah, I guess we need to add the border to the regular state as well. So we're going to go orange, change the opacity to 0, width to solid, so that way it doesn't push our content down. And for whatever reason, our transition, oops, I did it on that class. Not what I meant to do. we're going to go to footer links, border bottom, on the regular state, make that this guy. Solid. Do we have our transition effect now? We don't. I'm just going to apply it. Ease in, out. There we go. Perfect. Okay. So, what else do we have under this? I think that was a little bit more. Hydrogen class lock. You're right, I know. Hydrogen class lock or core class lock, either one would be handy in this particular case. So now with this section, we're going to go to div. Once again, 100% width. How much space is there between this? So we just need to add some padding. It's 38. So we're going to go with this div, 38 pixels of padding on the top. I'm going to add in another div that has basically 2 text links. Terms and conditions. So these are light. These are 12 pixels with like a 1.4 line height, letter spacing of 1. So let's make this class DW footer links light. So 14, that's pretty small. I'm going to change it to 16. And then the line height is 1.5, letter spacing of 1. Was it capitalized? No, but it is a weight of 400. That is default. So we are good to go. So it's terms and conditions and privacy policy with a hover color of this orange. And let's add in the transition. So there we go. Perfect. So terms and conditions. And then how much space do we have here? So it's 50. Oh no, I did it again to the transition class. I don't want it on that. I want it on my footer links light. So our hover color is orange there, not on the transition class. So once again, all you guys that just had hydrogen class lock would have fixed that. There you go. All right, so the other thing was it was 50 there, so duplicate this. And then this particular one doesn't need the margin. And this one was privacy policy. Horizontal. Perfect. And then what was the last thing over here? So it's some social icons. And let's see if we can just use the standard social icons element. Sometimes it's really finicky. So we're going to go with circle. The background color is white, I believe. Our icon color was orange. Oh no, it's transparent. Okay, so the icon color was transparent. That is not gonna work. Let's see here. Oh, I guess I could just make it icon color that. And then it's square though, it's not circles. Icon size is a lot smaller. And then our hover effect is just orange. So there we go. And then can I apply a transition straight to this? What about if I do our transition class? No, didn't think so. Okay, no big deal. And then space between to push that all the way over here. So that looks okay. And then, oh yeah, so I see what you're talking about. Flip back, you said this needs to be exactly the same width as the image. That's 760. So I guess what I'm gonna have to do is take these text links and let me move this over so you guys can see what I'm gonna do. So take this, wrap this guy with a div, get our text links right here. Let me move myself over a little bit more. And then horizontal, set this to max width of, what was it, 760. And then let's remove the margin on the right-hand side. Go back to this div, set it to 100%. Oops, not 100-0, 100%. Then space between, and voila. There we go. So now the text links are in line with the image. So good call on that. Thank you very much. Sweet. So the only thing that I haven't done is the active links, like the active color underneath these links, both here and in the main menu. I don't know exactly how you're supposed to do that without JavaScript. And that's one thing that the Pro menu and the other Oxygen menu do give you right out of the box. So let's take a look at our homepage and see where we're at. So here is our header. We still got to link up the book nows and these other links. And then here is our footer. So once again, we still have some alignment stuff to work on because this stuff should be pushed down further. I'm wondering if I just extend the height of the section or possibly make the shape divider smaller so it pushes it down, because this is pretty difficult to read. But I think it's not that difficult to read over here. So yeah, it's just because it's pushed down further. So how tall is this guy? So that says 268. And then active page for menu color. Where do you stick that, Taylor, in a code block? And are you just changing the menu underscore wrapper to your basically like div wrapper for that particular section? I think this part looks super messed up based on our page width here. So it's going to change based on screen size. Yeah, I wish it didn't do that. Okay, so first of all, is the background in that section? So we're going to go with left 50. And then we're going to go top 50. That's decent. All right, so let's do this then. In this div, we're going to go code block. Take this. So this code block, we're just going to comment out that PHP, JavaScript. So our menu wrapper, we need to change to this particular div, which is div 1075. So apply. And then basically, now, Taylor, do I just add the isActive class? It needs relative link. Not sure what you're talking about. /about/contact. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, so this, well, is the home going to work? Do you just go /home or is it just /? And I'm assuming this is going to be book. Now, none of these pages exist just yet. So more info. And then we're going to go /FAQ and then /contact. Okay, so /home works. I also just noticed that this isn't pushing all the way to the right. Is it because, well, that has margin 0 on that. Why would that be? That's weird. Yeah, that's cool. Thanks, Taylor. So then where are you styling the isActive class? So if it adds it for you automatically, do you need to add it to one element so it knows what to do with it? I'm out of my drink. I ain't got no more coffee. This is a sad day. All right. So, oh, so you style it yourself. Okay. Code block. So what did we do here? So the border bottom, CSS. So don't want color. We're going to keep the color the same, and then it would just be border bottom solid 2 pixels, and then what was that color? It was this. And then I always forget. Is it solid 2 pixels or 2 pixels solid? I never remember the correct orientation. So yeah, I thought so too. There we go. So is active, right? Sweet. Nice work, Taylor. Awesome. That's really neat. So Taylor just helped us out here. That's really cool. So then I need to do that to this as well. So basically I'm going to duplicate this code block, and we're going to take it all the way back up here. This is roughly where I want it to be. I'm just going to bring it all the way up here. So then this is going to be this particular div right here, 11.5. JavaScript is 11-5. And then there we go. So there is that active color now. Perfect. And then how much spacing was here? So there's 8 pixels. So then on these links, we're going to go with 8 pixels of padding. So save, refresh, bam, look at that. Cool. You can even target the class for top menu, and footer menu is active. Oh, okay, yeah. So I guess I could have done that. This is easy enough though. Nice and simple. So that's cool. I also, before I forget, I'm going to go ahead and link up these links. So I'll just do slash to keep things consistent. And then it was /book-now. And then it's going to be /more info. And then FAQ. And finally, it will be /contact. Don't forget to use color1 instead of instead of the hex color. I always forget to do that. So that way, if you change the global color, is that what you're talking about, Taylor? So with this in the CSS, instead of that, you can go. Oh wait, how's that gonna work in that particular thing? I'm just gonna leave it. I don't want to confuse myself or other people. Okay, so we've made a lot of progress. The only other thing is going to be configuring the Book Now page itself. But as we already saw earlier on in the stream, really the only other thing is going to be, choosing the shortcode that you want from Amelia and sticking that on the correct page. So I think what I'll do is leave that for another time. Now, I do have some more content to build out here, but this stuff is going to be relatively straightforward. And in this case, I do need to run, so I'm going to have to close out the stream here for today. So we still have more to address. We have this intersection here, and then we also have the mobile version, which I think is going to be pretty interesting. So if you guys want me to do a part 2, I will. No promises on that, actually, because I do have a crazy schedule coming up for the next week. If you want, I could just basically trying to think. Maybe I'll record it and post it as a regular video when I get time, because I don't think I'll be able to do a stream. But anyway, Thank you all so much for watching. I really, really appreciate the support. As always, it's super fun and just appreciate the community support. The donation, I'm sorry. Let's see. Who did that come from? It doesn't tell me. I wonder if I can find it back in chat. Let's see. Martinez, thank you so much for the donation. Really appreciate it. And as always, I will see all of you in a future video. Thanks so much. Bye, everybody.